Recently, I've been getting more into Hall effect keyboards, and I've been kind of exploring that avenue of things for gaming primarily. Now, I still really like mechanical switches, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, but I was really interested in all the offerings that Hall effect switches and the benefits of them have to offer. Now, I have only experimented with like 1 or 2 of these Hall effect switches, so I figured why not take a look at some more. And that's what we're doing here today. We're making a full-blown Hall effect switch tournament all at once, so I can take a big look at a whole bunch of different switches here. And I think it's going to be kind of fun. Now, this isn't anything super scientific or anything. We're just going to be basing it off of my preferences and what I like and how some of the switches even feel. So if your favorite switch gets knocked out early, sorry in advance. And before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to Milktooth, which is today's sponsor of this video. Without their help here, this whole tournament wouldn't even be possible. They've got one of the widest switch selections out of any website out there, and their website is pretty darn nice to use. You can sort by sound, feel, and even price, and even other descriptors like bouncy or marshmallowy. On top of that, you're saving about 27% on average compared to other stores, and you get free shipping in the US on orders more than $49. I'll drop a link in the description if you guys are interested in taking a look. So let me give you guys the rundown on how this is exactly going to work today. I have 24 switches in the studio today that are numbered from 1 to 24 in little bags. Milktooth has anonymously done that, so I don't know what any of these things are. In fact, I only know really one Hall effect switch, which are the Geon Raptors, which aren't in the tournament bracket today. But I can safely recommend them, they're pretty good. Now, I'll only be using a few different keys and the spacebar for this to test since I don't have full batches, but the top 5 switches that end up winning the tournament, I'll do full sound tests for. We'll keep doing this until one switch gets knocked out. I'll give you guys a quick sound test, some thoughts on the switch, and we'll just keep moving on with the tournament. So without further ado, let's get right into this tournament then, shall we? All right, first up, we're gonna do 16. Let's put these guys in. These sound a bit plasticky for my liking. I don't know what it is, something about these. It's like an open plasticky sound. I don't know how I feel about these. We'll see how the next one sounds. So these are a little bit better. I think out of the 2 right now, I'm gonna give this the clear win for the 2 on the bracket here. They're not as like hollow or plasticky sounding, so yeah, these are gonna win this bracket for me. All right, next up we have 9 versus 24, and I'm kind of excited for these ones here because when I was playing around with these, they sounded really nice. So let's see how these ones here sound like in the keyboard. I have high hopes for these. There's still something about these, like I feel like these still need to be hand lubricated. Because I still feel something is not quite 100% with these, but these are pretty good. I like the way these sound. They have like a good baseline sound, so this is looking good so far. Oh, next up is number 24. Let's see how these really nice lavender looking switches stack up. Wait. These sound phenomenal. So what I'm really liking about these ones is they have a very full sound signature, and the stock lubricant's done really well, and they do sound almost better than our control switch here, which is, this is nice. I mean, I have no words. This is really nice. I really like these switches. This is the clear winner. I have to give it to number 4. The lavender switches did it for me. I don't know if they're called lavender switches. They're just the color lavender. Let's move on to the next one. All right, next up, number 13 versus number 20. Here we go. All right, so here's what I'm liking about these ones here. They have a bit of a sharper clack to them, if you want to call it that. I do like these. These I'm going to keep on my radar right now. Let's see how the next switches sound. So next up is number 20. Let's see how these sound. These are a cool color switch. They're like a teal. These are so similar to the last ones. Oh boy, I don't know what to pick here. So these have a very similar sound signature. I feel like they have a clack. They're also very well lubricated, just like the other ones were. So these sound slightly plasticier to me, if you want to call it that even. I'm going to go with those incredibly green ones. I think those are going to be the winner. Sorry to whoever really likes these teal switches. These are nice though. I didn't mind these, but those ones there had just a slight edge to me. All right, next up we have 12 versus 21. So let's see how these ones here stack up. I like the way these ones here look. Number 12, they're a kind of a cool oat kind of color. I don't know, beige. I like these. Let's see how these sound first. Interesting. Okay, so with these, they're a slightly higher top end. The bottom out is oddly, I don't know, I'm finding them kind of dull. It's still a good sounding switch. The stock lubricant's pretty good on these. Let's see how the next ones sound. So I don't really like the way these sound at all. I don't know what's wrong with them. They kind of sound like watery, echoey. I have literally no idea. Maybe they just need a hand application of lube. Maybe the stock lube just isn't cutting it. Maybe it's just the switch construction or the materials that don't vibe with me. I'm going to give the winner to those beige switches, number 12. All right, now we got 15 versus 18. Let's give these a go. And let's start off with number 15. I'm going to pop these guys right in. All right, so not bad. I think these ones here still have a slight emptiness to them. I do feel like there were some fuller ones I've tried. They have a really good stock lubricant. I'd say these still sound really good on the alphas. Spacebar's not my absolute favorite. I think there was one other one that we tried that was a lot nicer. But let's see how the next ones stack up. Let's give number 18 a go. These are nice. I'm going to give the winner to number 18 here. These are very good. All right, 10 versus 23 time. Let's see how these stack up. Let's start off with number 10 and see how this sounds. I do like the way these switches look. It's like a very deep navy and yellow stem. All right, so I'm hearing some sort of extra sound here that I'm not exactly sure what it is. It almost sounds like a little bit of a rattle. Again, could be chalked up to the stock lubricant or if there's no lubricant at all. I'm not a big fan of these. On to number 23, another very aquamarine teal, I don't know what color to call this, mint. It's a mint switch. Okay, so these are a little lighter in sound signature, but I actually really like them. I think these have every aspect of the sound I like, minus a little bit of the volume that I normally like, but I think that could work in their favor here. Hear any weird sounds like the last switch that we just used? So I'm gonna give these the win here. Let's move on to the next round. And here we go, 14 versus 19. Let's do this. These are full, the stock lubricant's there. They sound excellent in this particular board. I'm a big fan of whatever these red switches are. All right, number 14. Next up, number 19. Let's pop these in and see what they sound like. They're just not as full as the red ones that we just used, so number 14. I thought the other ones had a bit more bass to them as well, which I'm kind of vibing with, and they felt nicer as well. I'm gonna go with number 14 on this one. 11 versus 22, and 22 is my favorite number, so I'm hoping these win, but we'll see. We're gonna start off with number 11. Let's pop these in and see what they sound like. So these feel a bit on the heavier side, and it almost doesn't feel like a spring heaviness. It kind of feels like an over-lubed heaviness. Okay, oddly enough, same thing with these ones here. These feel a bit heavier, and I'm not sure if that's just because of the lubricant or it's the spring itself. These definitely felt like there was still something off about them. I definitely heard some sort of little extra noise or click as I was actuating these switches. I'm going to give number 11 the winner here. Bit of a shame 22 didn't win. All right, now we're moving on to the second part of our bracket where we're going to start using some of the switches that we just used versus some of the ones we haven't. So this time here, it's going to be number 1 versus number 17. I like the pitch of these a lot. They did feel really good too. I really like how light these are. A little plasticky, not as full as some of the other switches, but I still really like them. Let's go revisit the other switch now and see how it stacks up against this new one. I do think number 17 still has a bit more bass to it, which I kind of prefer in this case. I'm going to go with number 17. All right, 8 versus 24. Let's see how these sound. And I think this is going to be a tough one. Okay, so these switches sound good. There's definitely some bass there. I like some of the top end. I'm not 100% positive if I really love these, but let's go back to the other switch and revisit it and see how it stacks up to this guy. And number 24 is the obvious winner here for me. I absolutely love how full these things sound. In comparison to the switch we just tried, these blow it out of the water. All right, it is time for 4 versus 13, so let's see how these stack up. We're gonna pop in number 4 first. I can't say I'm a big fan of these. They sound very echoey in this board, unlike some of the other switches we've tried. But let's see how they stack up to the other switch. These green ones are a clear-cut winner for me. They're just fuller sounding. They feel good as well, like just as good as the other switch. The green ones are moving up. 5 versus 12. Let's see if one of these new switches can finally outrank some of the stuff we've already taken a look at. Maybe this will be the one. Who knows? We're going to start off with switch number 5. These are going in incredibly tight. I already don't like this about this switch, so I'm going to keep that in mind after we listen to them. Alright, these switches sound okay. There's something rattly about them. I noticed as I was taking them out of the bag, there was this weird little rattle, and after carefully looking at the switch, it's actually these plastic diffusers that aren't really sitting well in this particular switch and causing it to rattle. Like when I hold them down, they don't rattle anymore, but then when I shake them around in my hand, they tend to make a little bit of noise. I think that's also vibrating a little bit in the case here as I type on these. Not a fan. Sorry, number 5, not a fan. Number 12 is killing it for me. I really like the way this sounds in this board. Number 12 is the absolute clear-cut winner here. Number 12 is moving on up in the bracket. Number 2 versus number 18. Let's go. Oh, these are a silent switch. I appreciate them for what they are. I actually, if you guys didn't know this, I game with silent switches for the most part, or at least try to. Lately, I've been doing a lot more HE testing, so I haven't had a chance to go back to my silent keyboard. I do like these, but let's see how the other ones compare. I do like silent switches for gaming. I just really like these a lot more overall. Like I said last time, these feel and sound really good. But again, honorable mention to the silent switch. Number 18 is moving up. Next up, 23 versus 7. And let's see how this stacks up against number 7. I really like number 23. It's full. It has all the sounds that I like. Let's see. Alright, I'm just going to come out and say it. I like number 23 more. Number 7 just has, again, that plasticky sound signature that I've noticed in some of these HE switches. 23 sounded nice and full. It had some depth to it. It sounded like a good, solid switch, and they both felt really good too. I don't think there's one that I prefer here feeling-wise, but number 23 definitely takes the cake when it comes down to sound. Love it, and it's moving up. It's time for number 3 versus number 14. Let's see who wins. Again, I really like these. They have like a very full sound signature, not quite as bright as some of the other switches. It definitely kind of curves off towards the top end, which I kind of enjoy. But let's see how it stacks up against the other switch. This is so tough because I like the alphas way more on this switch. However, the spacebar in the other switch just sounded so much better. I think overall, I'd probably be more happy with this switch, so we're giving it to number 3 in this case. Time for 6 versus 11. These are very unique. I really like this. It kind of stands out from every other switch we've tried so far. I'm very much vibing with this. I don't know. I think number 6 wins this for me. The uniqueness of the other switch, I think, overpowers how much I enjoy this switch. It's just a bit heavier overall. I kind of like the lightweightness of the last switch, so I'm giving it to number 6 here. Now we're moving on to the semi-finals of this little switch competition here, and we're doing number 17 versus number 24, and let's see how these stack up against each other. We'll start off with number 17. All right, number 24 definitely takes the cake here. It's just a lot more deep than the other switch, and I feel like this one here just feels more full. It feels better as well. I like this one here a lot more. Number 24 is the clear winner here. Next up, we have number 12 versus number 13. We'll start off with number 12 first. I'm going to give the edge here to number 13. I think there's just a slightly fuller spacebar, at least perceivable to my ears from number 13. So number 13 moves on. Number 12, I'm so sorry. 18 versus 23, let's see who wins. We'll start off with number 23 first. All right, so I think this one here I'm gonna have to base off of feeling and not sound. Sound-wise, I like both of them. They both sounded good. I don't think one had a clear advantage sonically, so I think feeling-wise, I do like number 23 more. It just felt like a more solid switch. So number 23 is the winner. All right, 3 versus 6. We're moving into the final 5 switches here. This is gonna get tough now. Let's start off with number 6. Okay, this one here is interesting because I do like both the sound profiles here. However, I do think number 3 sounds better overall. It just has a certain depth that I feel like doesn't really come across in number 6. And I also like the way these feel more than number 6. It was just overall more pleasant. The clear winner here for me is number 3, no contest. 24 versus 13. We're moving on to the final 4 switches. I guess this is considered the semifinals now for real this time. I'm gonna have to give the edge here to 24. I just think these switches sound better. They sound more full, more to my preference overall. I like the way both of them feel, however, so they're both kind of in the same level feeling wise. I'm gonna go with number 24. It's moving on to the final round. And next up for a shot at the finals, we have 23 versus 3. Let's see how they do. I do think number 23 doesn't feel as good as the one that we're using right now, which is number 3. So I'm gonna have to go with number 3. Final round, 24 versus 3. And we're gonna start off with number 3 first. All right, final round is done. Now this is not easy to pick. I like number 3 and I like number 24. For number 3, I think the sound profile definitely hits a little bit more close to home in my preferences. However, I can't ignore the fact that number 24 I think just has a lot more of what I want feeling-wise out of a gaming Switch. Feeling-wise, I'm gonna have to go with number 24. 24 is the winner, guys. And just to give you guys a better sense on how these top 5 switches ended up sounding like in a full board, I'm going to do a quick sound test in monkey type with a phrase that Milktooth gave us today, so here you guys go. And that's it for the Switch tournament today. This was definitely a fun format. I'll have to do this again with maybe MX Switches in the future because I had a blast doing this. And thanks again to Milktooth for sending us all these switches and supporting the channel. And if you want to actually try these switches for yourself, they have all these switches in stock on their website. But more than anything, I appreciate you guys all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. And also, quick thanks for 100,000 subscribers on this channel. Your support means literally the world to me. I've been doing this for nearly 4 or 5 years now, and it has been a grind, so thank you guys all again. I'll catch you next time. See ya.